Hey everybody, Brian here again on this lovely Sunday morning. It's about 70 degrees, having a bit of a cold snap here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm taking a walk around Eagle Marsh. It's a wetlands area in the southern part of the city. And I'm not going to follow this trail too far. I actually don't know where this goes. Maybe someday I'll come back and try it again. But the actual trail is behind me. I'm going to get back over here. I'm going to see if I can make this a little shorter video this time. And the reason is, my first video was recorded on Friday. I tried to upload it and it took forever. I felt it stalled out. And I had forgotten that it can take forever for a YouTube video to be uploaded, especially one of the size that I put out there. So I stopped it, tried again, eventually got it last night. So if you watch that, it actually was posted after news went out that made some of my content a bit outdated, like immediately. So if you pay attention to the Connecticut Sun news, you know that they're officially sold to the Boston Celtics owner. They'll be moving to Boston and they'll start play in 2027. Pretty interesting. I'm not sure if they're going to keep the Sun name, because if they were the Boston Sun, that sounds a bit like a newspaper, and I'm not sure if that sounds right. Anyways, I'm going to try to keep this a little short. Focus on a few things that came up recently. Maybe talk about the future, what I might do. Thinking about adding to the, what little content I have here. So remember, if you read the description, I tried to tweak my page a little bit, add some pictures and logo, and I don't have an editing bone in my body. I really don't. That's not my thing. So it's going to look kind of janky, unprofessional, but I think that's kind of the point. It's just you and me walking a talk wherever I go. Maybe something happens. Maybe there's some unusual, unexpected thing that occurs. So I want to keep this as raw as possible. But it's interesting that in just a few days' time, things can really change. And when I had talked about kind of how I got into the league, I started really giving it a shot, watching it closely, throwing away old biases, and trying to form a new enjoyment of it as it is, not as it was. I had mentioned how I'd gotten into the Minnesota Lynx, which is good. They're a good team for me. They're dependable. They're not, drenched in drama, internal problems, constant coach turnover, as some teams are. I think they're worth my time. And yesterday, the demoralizing destruction they laid upon the Aces, though I'll take the win. It was at cost. I'll take the win, but I'm not convinced that that game was good for the league. Now, I came into this a couple years ago, just flipping the channels, finding a game, giving it a shot, and enjoying what I saw. If I were that person yesterday, I probably would have been turned off to the league even more. I'd probably be thinking, wow, I try to give this league a shot. Here's a nationally televised game, and this team, this Minnesota team, just completely obliterated Las Vegas. It would make it sound as if that squad was filled with terrible players, awful coaching, and no discernible reason for existing. The Lynx just destroyed that team on their own court. It's like, come on in, play basketball with us. Try not to beat us by more than 50. But they did. It doesn't look good. I would not be surprised if there were some indifferent people out there, or ambivalent people of the league, mildly curious, possibly interested in coming over and being a fan, who watched that and went, I'm not wasting my time with this. This is parody in the WNBA. Ooh, not good. I don't know what went wrong with Las Vegas. The best I could say is that I think the stars were aligned for Minnesota. Kayla McBride is something special. That team is something special. They have an incredible leader off the court with Cheryl Reeve. Her support team, fine-tuned, hand-picked and chosen. On the court, you have Kayla, fantastic leader, as I've mentioned before. Adore her. And all these players that just fit in very well. The puzzle is complete for that team. They just added Yvonne Anderson, who got some considerate playing time yesterday for good reason. She's out there running around, doing her best. Time will tell how she fits in with the team. I'm hopeful for her. But that game was not good. I'll take the win, but I don't think that was a good showing for the league. And I don't know how they prepare for that. They're trying very hard to spread out games across the different major networks. Ion has them as well. I would just prefer to watch them on the app myself than watching on Ion. My antenna feed for Ion is not good. There's high definition, there's standard definition, and then there's Ion through a digital antenna, which is just not good at all. I'm going to pause here a second, take a look at these surroundings. This is the big part of the wetlands. It's kind of hard to see through the camera here, but we're going to encounter a lot of swampy pond land, herons and cranes. I see them all the time out here. Hopefully I'll get to catch one today for you. On a day like today, I wouldn't be surprised if I see a few. Off in the distance, you're going to see a little bit of a building, or a conglomerate of buildings back there. That's a water treatment place. And just as I'm walking over here right now, I'm far away from it, but the scent of the dirty water that they have to clean up is very strong. Might be the only downside to this area is how the smell is in this particular area. I'm not sure what the thinking was, if this was just the best location for it, but to have a water filtration plant up against the wetlands, I mean, is that normal? I don't know. But if I pause or cough or clear my throat a little more, it's because of that. It's pretty pungent. That's a good segue, pungent. That's a good word to use to describe the Aces yesterday. And I have a hat on. I'm going to take it off right now, my little khaki hat, in remembrance of the Aces. Rest in peace, Las Vegas. Hopefully you have the courage to come back on the court and try again, because yesterday was an absolute disaster of a game. And as a Lynx fan to you, Aces fan, look, it happens. It sucks. It stinks. It literally stinks over here right now. I hope you find a way to get over this and reclaim the rest of your season. It's not lost. Asia Wilson is way too good for this. Jackie Young, way too good for this. Chelsea Gray, too good for this. And you know what? I don't even know if I got her name right. Chelsea Gray, yeah. Because I get her mixed up with Alicia from The Dream. Anyways, not a good showing. Not a good look for Las Vegas or the league itself. You know, there's an incident that happened. I think it was The Dream and the Valkyries. Some fool took an adult toy and threw it on the court. Stopped play and embarrassed the ladies. Embarrasses me as a fan. And someone with that much gall, that much disrespect to do that. I hope that person was arrested. I didn't read the news reports that were out there. I hope they had done something with that person to ban them from the arena, wherever they were. Clearly it's unacceptable. But what really gets under my craw about this is the way arenas treat security and what they expect the fans, the honest fans, to do. Because when we went to Minnesota for the Lynx game about a month ago or so, month and a half maybe, we were walking the Target Center before the game. It's like a day before, because we had never been to Minneapolis. I wanted to go to the team store. I wanted to just take in everything Lynx related. Went to the team store, and by the way, this is a side note. When it comes to team stores, the Phoenix Mercury, their team store is atrocious. It is like 90% sun and just that little 10% of mercury. Now, caveat to this is that we went during the off season. However, if the idea is to spread interest in the league, to generate new fans like myself, you got to keep it out there. I thought that really sucked, because at the time I wasn't quite sure who I was going to go for in that league. It could have been Phoenix. We were in Phoenix, November 23. The team store was really, really terrible. The Lynx store is slightly better. More stuff. Jerseys for all the players. That's where I got my Carlton jersey, number 6. She's my emotional favorite. I just really enjoy watching her. I think she's a ray of sunshine. That's what she is. Even in the face of struggle and adversity, she maintains her smile and her poise and her composure. That is a skill, and I thank her for that. But I went to Indianapolis during the All-Star game festivities and went to the different little pop-up events here and there. Really cool. Had a good time with it. The Unrivaled thing was a mess. Didn't like that at all. But we went to the Fever team store. And you want to talk about love and devotion. Holy crap. That team store was incredible. Everything you could possibly want for the Fever was there, and more. It felt like it. Now, here's, again, caveat. They could have hyped it up because of the weekend. I get it. But just the fact that they would even do that. There was so much room in this store. The other stores were kind of cramped. This one is huge. I really felt, and this is what it gets down to, the feeling that they cared. And I think that's what I'm looking for. If I had to go to other team stores, Like, I could see myself maybe visiting the Sky, even though I don't want to go to Chicago. I would expect them to give their own teams a little more love. Maybe the Sky does that too. They have good reason to. I know Reese is a very divisive character in the league right now, for good reason, but I support her, and I want her to do well. And I hope they're doing the same thing. So here's one of the big ponds for the wetlands. There's a bird structure over there. I don't see anything over there. I'm not going to try to zoom in. This is already raw and yucky looking as it is. I'm going to try to keep an eye out for the birds if I can find them. But anyways, I expect teams in major cities to support one another. The team supports the city by doing well. The city supports the team by putting the merchandise out there, making it seem like they actually care about them. I didn't get that feeling so much with Phoenix. It's almost like they're an afterthought. It doesn't make sense. But if that's the way they look at the WNBA, so be it. I can't change that. I'd love to. I'd love to encourage a little more focus on them, because I think they deserve it. But it's gonna take all of us, I think. I don't even remember what I was talking about when I got into the team store stuff. I'll have to go back and watch my own video to make sense of that, I guess. And get used to that, by the way. The way my mind kind of works, I will go off into tangents and rabbit holes and everything, and I'll forget my original discussion. But I think it had something to do with the security issue. So my wife, she likes to go to concerts, kind of low-key concerts, not major ones. Like, she's not going to spend thousands of dollars to see someone like Taylor Swift. It's not going to happen. So she bought this little bag, a little sling bag over her shoulder, completely see-through. Why? Because arenas are now expecting people to show off everything they bring into the stadium, and for good reason. And she brought it with her when we went to Minneapolis. We get in the Target Center to see the team store, and there's a sign that says, hey, no bags of any sort allowed in our arena. None. Not even see-through. She's like, are you kidding me? What the hell am I supposed to do? Got keys, my wallet, my phone. You're just going to have to suffer. Pay all that money to get us into the game, and you can't even bring your stuff with you. You can't even bring the object which allowed you to get the money to get the tickets to begin with. So she was very understandably angry about that. So she, finds a way to get her stuff with her without having the little bag. It's very small. So we get in there, and we find our seat. It was one row behind the court. It was basically courtside seats. It was just one row behind. And we get in there, and we're looking around, and there are all these women. All these women with these designer bags, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, whatever. Not see-through, way bigger than my wife's bag, and they got through. Why? Is that what security is? Make this grand claim before you even step in the arena, and then once you get there, it's like, whatever. Doesn't make sense to me. In fact, it ticked me off. It hurts my view of the fan experience if that's the way they treat us. I'm all for security, but you have to be consistent with it. No more telling people you can't have this, that, and the other, and then let people in with this, that, and the other. Doesn't make any sense to me. But nevertheless, enjoyed the game, had a lot of fun. So what went wrong between the Dream and the Valkyries? I don't understand. How does someone make it through security with a really disgusting adult toy, neon green, rather easy to see? Just hit it in the jacket, hit it in the pocket somewhere. So I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna keep an eye on this guy. I don't like him just standing there like that. But I'm gonna turn around, get back to the pavilion before I end this. It just ticks me off, and I know that you can't stop crazy. You can't stop those with the will to cause harm. You can enact a lot of rules and be very vigilant about them, but ultimately, at the end of the day, they tend to hurt the honest people more because it puts them under extra pressure when they're not intending to do anything harmful. And those who want to cause harm will just find new ways of doing it. This little pavilion close to our vehicles and such. I'm just going to sit here for a minute. Oh, there's a bird. Not sure what that is. But yeah, that event ticked me off. I didn't need to see that in the news about the league. I'm trying to find good things to connect to and to be happy about. That was just another cancerous boil on the face of the league. And it wasn't even their fault. It gives the impression that things are disorderly, out of control, not good. And if you're a young fan and you're watching that game, and because I've seen a lot of kids in the very front of the, down there, the court line. I'm jumbling my words right now. See a lot of kids down there with their parents or whatever, with a trusted adult, and they're watching this go on, and out in front of them pops this object. I'm sure there are questions raised, Mommy, what's that? Daddy, what's that? It's embarrassing. Shouldn't have to deal with that. I don't know how we can fix that problem, if it can't be fixed at all, or if it's just a matter of trust that was thrown away. I think what I might do, there's another path. I had stopped over here by the road, and I watched an older fellow cross, thankfully safely, because this is 4 lanes here. But he was going to another part of the path that goes along the side of the houses there, curls around the road back there, and gets behind a big, there's a dome, there's a sports dome. People can play soccer, drive golf balls, batting cages, a very elaborate miniature golf course is in there too. It's a huge, inflated dome. I might go back there sometime for a return back here. I didn't see anything terribly interesting nature-wise during this walk. I was trying to keep my eye out for things while talking at the same time, which is why I sometimes go quiet, because I get lost in thought and processing things. Certainly hear a lot of birds, that's for sure. I'm going to come back down here. I'm going to walk this little path, trying to get my shoes dirty. Oh, by the way, here's a fun fact about me personally. As I clear the sludge from my throat. When I shop for shoes, I look for both women's and men's. What I found is that I like the style of the women's shoes. I like the color combinations, and they tend to feel better to my feet. When I wear men's shoes, it takes me a while to break them in. Then they start feeling okay. But women's shoes, for some reason, they immediately feel good. These that I have on right now, they're simple. Got them from a discount shoe store. Cost me less than 20 bucks. They're a little tight, but it's good. It's the good sort of tightness to the shoes. I don't feel squashed. It's nice and snug, and that's the way I like shoes. I play pickleball, and there's nothing worse than a shoe that gives out on you when you're trying to make lateral moves. And the ones I have on now are really nice. These are my walking around shoes. I have other athletic shoes that I wear when I play pickleball. But these here are great for just walking around. And they'll eventually become my pickleball shoes when the other ones wear out. There's something out there. I don't know if I can capture this. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. It's going to look terrible. That just might be a goose or a duck, I don't know. And I was hoping to see a heron or a crane. Struck out today. But yeah, I like women's shoes. I like the way they look, feel great. And if someone gives me the side eye for trying them on, I don't care. It's my money. If they don't like what I'm buying, they can buy me shoes. One of these days, I think I'm going to try to figure out a way to get a player's shoes at the end of a game. I don't know if that involves like a sign. I got to write up some sign calling out a player. Hey, I spent all my money to come watch you play. Now I can't buy my own shoes. Can you give me yours? You know, something like that. I might try something like that in the future. I don't know. Oh, look at this. Here's a little path. Interesting location for an info sign. No dogs. None. At this nature preserve, we are working hard to protect imperiled wildlife like ground nesting birds and amphibians. We ask for your cooperation. No dogs. Here's another fun fact. As it concerns dogs, I don't like them. I don't think I've ever actually liked dogs. I've owned them in the past, very briefly, as an experiment to see whether I could become a dog lover or not. I have not. I don't like dogs. Can't stand them. They're loud. They're annoying. They wake me up in the morning, and they keep me up at night, thanks to our neighbors. And that's an entirely different video. I won't get into that here, but I don't like dogs. I just don't. It's not my thing. If you do, fine, whatever. Have your precious fur babies at your side. Elevate them to human status. Get your little magnet for your car that says, I'm the proud grandma of 2 Yorkie puppies. Woo! Great. But don't expect me to applaud. I can't stand them. Cats, on the other hand, far superior. Yes. If that's too controversial for you, I don't know what to tell you. But that's my argument, and I'm sticking to it. I'm going to take a look over here, see if there's anything in the water floating around. Ooh, is that oh, that's just the drain pipe over there. Water's not moving too much. Weird color, kind of like a bluish green. I wonder if that's a buildup of algae or something like that. Sometimes I'll see turtles down here. Oh, another thing. I might try this sometime. I'm a magnet fisher. Or fisherman. I like magnet fishing. Let's put it that way. If you've never done it, there's actually a little bit of a thrill to it. You get yourself a really, really strong magnet, one that has a metal loop on the back side of it. Get a nylon rope, create a really good knot so that that magnet is at the end of the rope. Take one end of the rope, tie it to something secure around you, take your magnet, throw it in the water. Drag it slowly towards you, feeling for any sort of attraction to something metal. Carefully pull out of the water, and you caught something. I don't like actual fishing. I don't find pleasure in that sort of activity. Something about piercing, fish's cheeks with a barbed hook doesn't really translate well to my senses. But magnet fishing, I do like that. I found some very bizarre things. I've pulled grocery carts and bicycles and phones and many, many, many fishing poles out of the water over the years. It's a lot of fun. It's a tranquil activity that I can actually get into without becoming too bored. I highly suggest it to you if you like doing that sort of thing. If you're up there in Minnesota, hello to you. With all those lakes and all those waterways and places where people congregate, I'm sure you can find a lot of cool stuff in the water. So I'm going to tidy this up a little bit, end the video for the day. I'll be thinking about something to do for the third episode, where to go. Maybe somewhere a little more active. Oh, almost got T-boned by a butterfly. I'll head back to the parking lot here and bid you a fond farewell. Thanks for hanging out with me. Be on the lookout for another video sometime soon. Until then, have a great remainder of your day, week, month. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.